Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm your host, Buckning, and today we're going to talk about how to build wealth in your younger years, which is I'm talking about 20s, 18, 19 years old, and whether you're going to post-secondary or you're not, there are pros to that. Of course, to both. Some people may feel like they can't afford to go to post-secondary and they just want to start working, and that's okay because there's a different level of success for everybody, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And so if you're new to the channel, welcome. This is where we put $100 a week into a tax-free savings account to build a dividend portfolio right in front of your eyes. And if you're not new, welcome back. So as you can see on the screen here, I already have the portfolio here because I just want to go through it quickly here. So for the all-time, we're up $969.15, up 18.7%. For the 1 year, same. For the 3 months, we're up $298.63, up 5.1%. For the 1 month, we're up $57.27, up 0.94%. And for the 1 week, we are up $72.55, up 1.19%. And for the day, we're up $11.41, up 0.19%. So I'm not going to go through the portfolio. We'll go through the portfolio on Friday. But as you know, every week we do put $100 in. And I just want to show you the proof here. And so, yeah, we'll just talk about what you should be doing, in my opinion, when you're looking to create wealth in your 20s. 18 or 19 is also included in there if you're that old and you're just smarter and you decide you want to get a head start on it. So one of the most common things in Canada is post-secondary. I'd imagine it's pretty common around the world, actually. So that statement is not so specific, but generic. Once you finish high school, maybe you take a year off or do whatever you want and then decide to go back to school, get an education. What does this have to do with investing? Well, when it comes or building wealth, what does that have to do with any of that? Well, when you're going to post-secondary, you're going to be learning a skill set, and the skill set has value in the marketplace. And when I say the marketplace, I mean the job marketplace, the economy, and so on and so forth, unless you're taking maybe a Bachelor of Arts. No offense to those that take a Bachelor of Arts. And so what does that mean? Going to post-secondary to learn maybe a skill set in finances, in business, in health industry, or whatever it may be. And this also includes trades. The cool thing is that you can take loans out, student loans, and not pay an interest on them. But you can also do all sorts of things as well. I know some people, they go to school, they took out student loans, grants, or scholarships, or whatever it may be, and they pay for their schooling, but then they also take that money and invest, which is a smart thing. However, it can be very risky if you're investing with the funds that are used for your education. Okay. Now, I'm not condoning everyone does that. Obviously, it has to do with your risk appetite. I'm just a guy on YouTube, just making videos on a dividend portfolio that we're building. And so $28,000, let's go with that. That is the average debt load that a student comes out after getting a graduate degree. I might be off on the number. That is the number I got off Stats Canada. Okay. So if you take that $28,000 and you invest into the S&P 500, which is an annual rate of return of 10%, since like 19 whatever to 2018, your monies of $28,000 would be worth $41,701.91, which is an interest of $13,701.91. Sorry, not 19, 91 cents. And so your 4 years would have accumulated you $13,000. Of course, education does not give you a return right away, but it does give you a return once you finish school and you use your skill sets that you're learning in the marketplace. And when you add value to the marketplace, that determines how much you'll make for the year. Whether it's anywhere from $30,000 to $60,000 to $100,000, or if you're a doctor in the hundreds, 200,000s, or a lawyer, whatever, and so on and so forth. But once you finish school or post-secondary and you figure out what career you want and you go for it, and maybe you decide, maybe it's time to invest as soon as you can, because in 4 years with that debt that you have, you would have accumulated $13,000. Now, like if your debt because I know student loans have an interest rate. If your interest rate is higher than the rate of return, then I don't recommend investing until you pay off that debt, because even if your loan is 9% and your rate of return was only 7% that year, you are still down 2%, which is not a good thing. You want to be ahead of your returns, or you want your returns to make the majority of your monies. So if your interest rate loan, this is where leverage trading comes into play. Now I'm going to talk about leverage trading in the end there. But leverage trading is actually just when you borrow money to invest and the rate of return is higher than the interest you're paying on the loan or whatever it may be that you're getting the money. So if your loan rate is 5%, but the rate of return is 10%, you would have made 5%. So you can use a little bit of leverage to make some money. Okay. So that is for students. Even if you're a student, I'm sure you can find $100 at 18 every single, you find $100 and you invest that. Even at $100 invested for the next 49 years, which would put you at 65 or 67, which is the average age of retirement in Canada, your $100 would now be worth $13,059.07. Okay. And that's just putting $100 away and never putting any more in there. Okay. Now you want to start sooner than later, because if you don't invest in 10, like if you don't invest at 18 and you invest at 28, which is coming close to 30, and you do the same thing and you put $100 in because you saw your buddy had a bunch of money in there because he put in $100 and you decided to put $100 in, your money at 65 or 67 would only be worth about $4,761. 10 years cost you $8,298.02. I don't think missing out on $8,000, now that's small scale, $8,000 in 10 years because you waited 10 years is a good thing. And so you want to start as soon as you can. Okay, so that's one of the ways you can build wealth is go to school, learn some skill sets, apply it to the marketplace, and get your value from the marketplace to create a paycheck, earn a paycheck, and start investing as soon as you possibly can, and try to stay out of debt while doing it. Of course, you can leverage certain amounts of debt. I think everyone does. And being debt free is also even better because then all your monies can go in there. Okay. Now, the second way is if you're not deciding to go the route of post-secondary and you decide, oh, you know what? I just want to work. That is totally cool. And the reason that's totally cool because you get to go straight into the marketplace and start working and learn skill sets while on the job. Okay. And the cool thing is that you can take those risks where maybe you can go to one career with no degree and you decide you don't like it. You can go to the next one and so on and so forth. And you can learn skill sets within every single job, whether it's going to a bank and learning to be a teller, because I think they don't require you to have a degree, or whether it's going to be a car salesman. You can learn about how finances work over there on that end when it comes to lending and depreciating assets, and know that, maybe it's not a good idea to get a vehicle, but don't get caught in the car salesman way of thinking you're the number one dude who, those cheesy salesmen for cars. But you can go into different industries and start learning your craft and start developing skill sets that you find value in and that you can apply in other industries and sectors of the economy. Okay. But when you start working, let's say straight at 18, and you start putting $6,000 away a year, and where do I get that number? I get it from the tax-free savings account in Canada, because at 18, you should open a tax-free savings account and you should get it invested. Not just a tax-free savings account, but a tax-free savings account invested in the S&P 500 or some sort of index that gets you a rate of return. Now, if you were to do that at 18 and you put in $6,000 a year, which was the contribution limit for this year, if you break that down into months, that's $500 every single month. Or if you were to do it bi-weekly, which is easier to handle in most cases because people get paid bi-weekly in Canada, or typically the majority of people in North America, that's like $240 every 2 weeks going into the S&P 500 tax-free. Okay. If you were to do that at 18 at 65, okay, at 65, you would have roughly $5 $8.7 million. Okay. And that's starting right at 18, which is absolutely crazy. Okay. And now let's say your buddy or your friend saw that you started doing that, but they didn't see it till they were 28. And they're like, you know what? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put the same amount that you put in there. They at 65 will only accumulate doing the same thing until they're 65 will only accumulate $2.1 million. Now that's a big difference. That's a difference about, what is it, 3 mil, $2.5 million difference because you waited 10 years, because your friend waited 10 years to invest. That is the cost of not investing now and learning to invest and learning financial literacy and doing the things that actually create wealth. Because working a job is great, but having your money that you earn from your job work for you is even better. And so don't get caught up in your 20s, figuring out, oh, I need this brand new car, I need this new house, because it'll probably hinder you. To be honest with you, in my opinion, I don't think anyone cares that you're 20 years old and you drive a luxury vehicle like a BMW or a Lexus and I'm talking brand new. No one cares. No one's judging you at that point. No one's judging that you live at home in your 20s. No one's judging you that you live in a little apartment in your 20s, or that you're driving a 86 Toyota Corolla in your 20s. I don't think anyone cares. I don't think anyone's like, oh, you're failing at life or anything. You're in your 20s. And no one's going to be like, oh, in your 20s, you have a Lamborghini. Honestly, we see that enough on Instagram, and we have found out that the majority of it is not real. Some of it may be, but remember, you are in control of your future. And I think that if you can figure out how to manage your money at an early age, you'll be pretty much set up for the rest of your life, and you don't have to worry about finances. I know plenty of people in their 30s that have rental properties, have investments, and all because they learned about finances. They learned how money works. And they're not worried about what people thought about them in their 20s, and now they're like in their mid 30s. They have more than your average 40, 50-year-old in Canada. And it's crazy because all it took was grinding it out in your 20s, having delayed gratification, and knowing the end goal, which is to just build wealth. And take it from me, I used to be that person. At 18, I didn't start learning this stuff till I was like 20-ish. At 18, I was working in the oil and gas industry. Obviously, you can probably tell that I'm in the province of Alberta now, making $100K a year, but a lot of it just went gone because I didn't know about money. I didn't know how money worked. I didn't know how finances worked. And so I can talk about that from experience, and I don't want anyone to be in that position. So when it comes to investing, even if you're starting to day trade or anything of the sort, the point is start putting money away as soon as you possibly can. That is the fastest. And I don't mean fastest in like you're going to be a multimillionaire tomorrow. I'm talking about the fastest route that gives you a margin of safety, but also gives you the end goal and knowing the end goal, because how compound interest works. And so those are the main ways that you can build wealth in your 20s is, number one, go to post-secondary, start learning a skill set. If you're not going to post-secondary, start working, go learn your craft in whatever industry that you want to learn in. And again, same thing, go learn some skill sets that apply to what you really want to do. And don't be afraid of failure, because the thing is, when we're in our 20s or 18 or 19, we have time to recover. We are not taking this risk of learning a new job at 50 or 40 when we only know one skill set or maybe two skill sets. Where you are in your 20s, you can go out there and fail, and you can still have time to recover, and you can just rinse and repeat the cycle until you figure out what you want to do. But with that, even though, because you're making money, start putting it away as soon as you possibly can. And that is what I'm saying. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. And again, go out there, start investing as soon as you possibly can so you can get the returns and get up to that $2 million or $5 million. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how you start building your wealth in your 20s so that you're set up for the future. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.